Hello and welcome to the Messed Up to Settle podcast. I'm comedian Michael Halcomb, and in today's episode, I'm making jokes, learning jokes, hearing jokes with comedian Alec McNair.
Everything seems so messed up, but it's just our setup.
So Alec, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. We want to lead off today. This is part 2 of our conversation with you, Alec, telling us a joke, an original joke. And then after you tell the joke, tell us the story behind it, where it came from, the origin story, essentially. We'll see if we can add any tags or punch it up a little bit. So the floor is yours, sir.
So I have a couple of different stories. I've come up with good premises, and so I love the idea of punching these up in real time. I was driving my family to church a couple weeks ago, and I was on the freeway, and this guy zoomed right behind me, tailgated me so hard. And normally this sends me off the deep end. I slow down to like 5 miles an hour. I really let this person know how much I don't like what they're doing. But I'm driving to church. I'm trying to turn the other cheek. I'm trying to be a better person. And I think to myself, what if this person is trying to get past me to visit a loved one in the hospital? I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. So I really had a moment of kindness. And I pulled off the freeway. This person zoomed around me to the left, zoomed right in front of me, got right in front of my car, slammed on the brakes, and turned a hard right turn into a Jack-in-the-Box. And I wish that person would choke on a curly fry.
Nice.
That did happen. And so yeah, that's something I tried out, and that's fine. It's a good little anecdote. It's a good little premise, but it needs some more meat on the bone. So that's what I was thinking about.
So interesting. I mean, the whole scene, I think a lot of people can relate to this. You know, you're on the way to church, is good moral person, and then you just lose it, you know, because this person cuts you off. Like you're supposed to be the nice guy in this situation.
Yeah, sure.
And the harm you wish on the guy, so you got the benign retaliation or whatever it is, like is just for him to choke on a curly fry. I thought, so you tricked me, surprised me. I thought he was going to turn into the church and you guys were going to it was like a pastor or somebody. Right. So I like that you didn't go there. So he turns into a Jack-in-the-Box.
Just a hard right turn. The thing I thought of the other day that it's related is that, do you ever drive on the freeway and you're going like 5, 10 over, like everyone does, but then someone zooms past you going like 30 or 40 miles an hour faster than you. You're doing 70, they're doing 100. And there's that split second, if I'm being really vulnerable and honest, that I hope that person clips a wheel and goes flying.
Right.
You're kind of looking to see, are they going to get, and like you really wish ill on them, and then it dissipates instantly. There's that moment of like awfulness when you see someone doing something so egregious and wrong that you hope that they die. It sounds terrible, but I think there's something in there that I think is really funny.
Yes. I'm wondering, like, so one thing I'm thinking about, like, I'm assuming your wife and kids at the start of the joke, they're in the car with you. So I think that's an interesting angle. Like, after you say, I hope he chokes on a curly fry, I wonder if there's something like, I think I'm getting, after 47 years, I think I'm starting to get the hang of this Christian thing. You know, a nice little tag there. Or like, what advice could you turn around and give to your kids? Like, you know, you say that out loud, like, I hope he chokes on a curly fry. And like, I'm curious how your kids react to this. That's that's part of the story I want. Like, what advice do you give them? What does your daughter or your son or whoever say to you?
Yeah, all of them know that I get like my blood pressure like goes up in situations like this. And so I think the fact that I really did like try to treat this person with like respect and honor is totally outside the norm for me. I think they would have been proud of me for doing that. I think that, yeah, I mean, it feels hacky, but you could do like, you know, and I want that person to choke on a curly fry, as it says in 2 Jackie and 4:13.
Okay, yes, there's that.
Which I don't love, but
I went to church and prayed for this guy, food poisoning, you know.
Oh yeah.
Some more benign, some more retaliation there.
Yeah. Maybe instead of choking on a curly fry, I need him to be smitten.
I think you can definitely punch the story up by giving everybody's perspective in the car, your wife, your 2 kids. I wonder what his perspective is after you've let him over. Just, you know, what is he thinking? Like now that he's turning into Jack-in-the-Box? And then like, I want to hear God's perspective. on
Yeah.
this too. I think those are like some different angles
Yeah.
that you could maybe milk some more material out.
Yeah.
So this is a true story. This really happened. The story is the backstory.
Right. Yeah, it works if I also have more of a setup about what's happening in me as I'm experiencing this. Like why, it's one thing to like go to church, but like it's another thing to have come from a situation that I already feel guilty for like doing something. And so this is my way to try to atone for some prior situation to do with my kids or whatever. I'm not sure that makes it funnier, but it definitely gives more like context and expectation.
What if you go to church and you hear a sermon about having the courage to speak your mind, and then, you leave and on the way home you get cut off again, and this time you just, you lose it on the person that your pastor gave you the green lights, or that's another angle.
Reminds me of this old Jack Black Tenacious D bit where he said, "Yeah, I was driving here earlier today, and this woman cut me off, and she was like so mad, she was red in the face, and she rolled down her window, she yelled at me and gave me the finger, but I didn't care because I got a human connection. There was a human connection between two people on this earth. It was beautiful. I wasn't mad at all. But as I followed her home, I got madder and madder." Such a good bit. Yeah. And so if I wanted to like copy some version of that, it would have to be the idea of like following him into the thing but.
Yeah. So I showed him the love of Christ by also turning into Jack in the Box and following him into the restaurant, and, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Just escalating it and escalating and escalating it.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. That's got some legs to it potentially. So I showed him the love of Christ by following him into the parking lot and out of his car and into the restaurant and, to the drink fountain and so on and so forth. Yeah, I think there's something there.
There's something there. It's ventures into territory that I don't like, that to me is almost an area that I wouldn't do myself, nor do I like that an audience would think I would do. And so to me, it undercuts the idea. If you get one joke out of that and then bounce because it's obvious I'm not going to go confront a guy. Because look at me, I weigh $150 soaking wet. I'm not gonna go confront someone in a Jack in the Box. And so I think there's probably a turn where I say I would do that, but acknowledge that I would never ever do that.
Yes,
That's
good.
That's the better.
Yeah, I like that. Like you want to do this, or you have this fantasy of doing this, or you drove off like sizing, like, the good Christian side of me wanted to follow him, something like that. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that's the common refrain that I think is funny, but I haven't found a good way to make it work, is the secret hate I have in my heart for people who are awful. People who have like full like voice Zoom calls in the coffee shop that you're in, right? I hate these people. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I see it more and more. Like you go to the bathroom, you're standing at the urinal, and then the person next to you is like on TikTok, like one-handing it. And you're like, can't you put your phone away for the 14 seconds it takes for you to pee? That's so gross.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And so I know it's like good material. I just haven't found a way to make it work other than just like, it sounds like complaining, which is, I think, not funny at all.
Yeah. Huh.
I mean, how do you handle that? I'm sure you see things you're like annoyed by, or things that are like, oh, these people are garbage, people who do this type of thing. And the dichotomy between observing that and trying to bring that as material to the stage.
Yeah.
You don't want to be preachy, but like,
right.
How do you handle it?
I think one avenue I like to try to go all the time, I don't all the time, but is to either make myself the butt of the joke or make myself part of the butt of the joke. Right. So if I'm even if I'm angry, like somehow I still need to be the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
And I think that's otherwise, like, it just sounds like I'm complaining.
Right.
And that isn't really funny. I mean, Lewis Black, he kind of has that whole persona, like his complaining is kind of just funny.
Yeah.
Like he can pull that off. I can't. So if I'm the butt of the joke somehow, then often that will work. Or if I'm linked into the butt of the joke, showing, oh, I just pointed out this messed up thing, but I'm kind of like messed up for noticing it,
Yeah. Yeah. Why can't I just keep my eyes on my own business at the urinal instead of trying to watch this guy's TikTok? It feels like that's on me. Or like I try to get back at him by not washing my hands on the way out, but untouching the door handle extra amount of time so he gets all my germs on himself. Feels petty, but I think I can stoop that low. Reminds me of like I have this old story where I was out of college and I was as a like fresh out of school, very clean, very organized. I loved like a tidy house, all that, less stringent like that now with 3 kids. But my roommate at the time, he and I would go play basketball and then at the park, and then we'd go buy like Taco Bell on the way home, and then we drink 2 Zimas because we were 23 and you could do that kind of thing. But we went to Taco Bell, and I remember he's in the passenger seat, I'm driving, and I remember him eating like a soft taco or whatever and spilling like a little bit of lettuce on the console, the center console of my car. And I was so mad that like he didn't clean it up. Like an idiot. This is like one of my best friends. I was like, what's wrong with you? And then we park, he gets out of the car and I look down and an entire taco salad is all over myself. I have spilled more out of the taco onto myself and the car than was in
There you go. That's a great story. That's a great story.
Well, to me, I like that story because it tells you something about me that I think an audience will buy. You're a clean, organized little boy that's trying to look like an artist in your 40s. Got it.
Yes, but I think also the audience, dude, like all of us can relate to that. Like somebody making our car dirty and how freaking frustrating that is.
Yeah.
But we make an absolute, dude, before I got on this call to you, I just texted my wife. My daughter drives my Jeep to school during the week. So like, I just texted my wife 4 pictures, like where my Jeep is absolutely filthy right now. And I was like, she needs to do something about this. But, you know, I'll get the Jeep just as dirty, right? I haven't washed it in months. Dude, I think we can all relate to that. And you're the butt of the joke in that, right? Yeah. You are the butt of the joke. And I think it works for that reason. Yeah, I love that. I think you got some with the Jack in the Box story. And we all know that scenario. We've all heard that sort of setup before, but also it's happened to us all.
Yeah.
Like my kids have seen that. Like when I was pastoring on the way to church, they would see that, me getting pissed off at somebody cutting in front of me. So I think we can all relate to that.
Especially if I lean into the idea of what I normally do. And what I normally do is slow down to 5 miles an hour to punish them for what they're doing. But I didn't do that this time. I'm so proud of myself and really lean into like singing my own praises about how like good I am and doing a good example. And
yeah, I think that's good. Like building yourself up like that. And then boom, with the punch, you just tear it all down instantly.
Yeah. Tear it down.
Yes. You know, make fun of yourself. You know, I've only been doing this Christian thing. I think I'm starting to figure this Christian thing out after 47 years because I prayed for him to choke on a curly fry. But however that turns out, I think that's good. I think you got something to work with there.
Do you think of like, is curly fry the funniest food for him to choke?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's the most iconic, like Jack in the Box food.
Yeah, I think that is the funniest menu item you can pull from Jack in the Box for somebody to choke on. That's the right word. So I think, you know, still needs to be last in the joke.
Yeah.
But I do think, and you know, the other thing, the story is a little bit predictable, and I actually don't think that's a bad thing. I think sometimes that predictability can actually like go a long way. Demetri Martin's a master of that, right? He has some of these things that they're totally predictable, but still absolutely hilarious. You know it's coming, but he'll put just enough spin on it to where it's fresh and novel. And I think that's the challenge here. This is a predictable story, and then you got to have just enough fresh there at the end to make it work.
Yeah, I think I also need to have a pretty big act out at how much him turning into the Jack in the Box undermines me. You can't, it's not on the words alone. I have to like flail on the floor at how like mad this makes me, right? How this totally undermines my entire attempt at being a better person. Yeah. Like you can't just say, like the way I said it to you, it's not enough.
I think that could be where they're like, you know, as soon as he does that, like your mind switches from that like benevolent, like maybe he's trying to get to a level and he swerves and takes a hard right in. and then like the switch just flips, and like you're thinking, forget church, forget going to worship God, forget going to pay my tithe. I want to follow this guy into the jack in the like.
If I could set something else up earlier that I love, like I used to always say about my agency business, that when we were early, like we would take little projects, we would get paid like a couple $1,000s like a month to do a huge like campaign. We'd do anything. I would always say we'd kick a puppy to get one of those small projects. And I wonder if there's a setup of like, if I could talk about my love of dogs, like, and I promise you right then, I prayed to God that said I would kick a puppy if I could just see that guy choking a curly fry.
There you go.
So
Yeah, I like
because
that.
that's funny in of itself, but it's funnier if it's set up from earlier.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. I think that's a good direction. Yeah. Well, man, thanks for sharing that. That's always fun. I love like brainstorming jokes and, potential angles and stuff like that. And thinking too, like this really does like work with the sort of, this is what a midlife crisis looks like kind of
Right. That's right.
persona.
Coming to
Right.
terms with a constant barrage of tiny offenses.
Yes. Just like framing, dude, I think you could do like almost a whole show around that. Like coming to terms with life's tiny offenses. Really. I mean, you could like branch off of like so many things with that. Yeah. I think there's gold there, actually.
Yeah, almost like, this is where my brain goes like, okay, how would I market that show? How would I make it a twist on the thing? It would almost like giving myself like a gold star or a medal for being a person who endures that constant barrage of tiny offenses. And that's what life is about. Like,
right.
That's the thing that's funny, I think.
That's a show, man. You definitely could build a whole show around that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
An American hero.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot there. Who needs like, I don't know, like people applaud Navy SEALs, people applaud firemen. But what about me? Like, I held it together when this guy cut me off and turned in a jack in the box.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. People are always saying like, oh, teachers need to be paid more. We need to show our gratitude toward teachers. Police officers need to be paid more. But like, what about me? Like, I wonder if you could find a really good refrain to keep coming back to every now and then in this show. Like, what about me?
Yeah, what if I get it that we should definitely send stranglers and murderers to jail. But what about me? I saw someone do a Zoom call from a coffee shop and I didn't murder him. Where's my award?
Right. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
That idea is a good, celebrating my extreme restraint in the face of such petty offenses.
Yes. Yeah. Dude, I think right out of that, dude, and right from that angle, I think you could go miles and miles with that. Like, I'm this guy who deserves an award. I'm the guy who deserves an award for dealing with petty offenses. Yeah.
I mean, it's worthy of being on a Wheaties box.
Yeah.
What would be the Wheaties box of this? And
yeah, what would be the Wheaties pose? What would you be doing on the cover of the Wheaties box?
Plain-faced, but internally, silently judging.
Yeah, I mean, what do you got? Like, you standing at your comedy microphone? What is the scene there? What are you doing? This is like, forget the Purple Heart, right? Like, forget the Purple Heart. Forget the key to the city. Like,
yeah. Yeah, this is the real struggle hardworking, privileged men like myself deserve.
Man, and there's a million of them, right? Yeah. So like the comedy. I think there's
this other story that I have told puts a different twist on it. So I flew to Dallas last year on Spirit Airlines, which is a punchline even of itself. I heard a guy, he said, this is a great joke. He said, Spirit Airlines is the LA Fitness of airlines. It's so good. It works.
I got a new cartoon I've been working on. I know I'm interrupting you. So
good.
I'm launching it today. I put up the trailer yesterday, but it's called House Church. Okay. So it's this cartoon that they're just shorts. It's like 45-second episodes that follows these 8 believers, these 8 Christians in a house. So the tagline is like 8 Christians, 1 house, almost zero spiritual maturity. Dude, what could go wrong? And so they just all say, but I have a joke in one of the episodes where the hyper spiritual girl who always hearing from God, right? She's
Yeah.
like, because they're talking about going on a mission trip, and she goes, we should fly Spirit, as in Holy Spirit. The Spirit Airlines. Yeah, it's a punchline in of itself. Anyways, keep going.
Oh, I love it. No, my joke about that I tell friends and family who fly Spirit, or then my mom will oftentimes fly Allegiant. And my joke to Allegiant is like the only way those prices are so low is that you have to be like stitching wallets during the flight. Like they really put you to work. And you have to be doing manual labor while you're on that plane. That's the way they subsidize it. No, I flew Spirit and then I was flying by myself and this older couple gets on the plane. The woman has like 3 backpacks on and like 8 water bottles hanging from those backpacks. The dude has like nothing. It's like he has like one of those like thick Texas wallets in his 2 tight jeans. And that's all. This older couple, and they stop at the row in front of me to say, hey, we are traveling together, but our tickets aren't together. Can we switch with you so we can fly together? And the people in front of me say, no, we're flying together, so we don't want to exchange seats. And I unbuckle my seatbelt to stand up and offer my seat because I don't care. I'm just by myself. And the woman of this couple that's standing up asking, she's like, well, that's sucky. And I slipped my seatbelt back on so fast. Not do that. And I try to make that like a punchline of itself, and it's fine. It's a good little like premise, but it's not a good bit yet. But in light of like an American hero, I almost used to be like, man, game recognized game with this woman. I see where you're coming from, and here's a medal for you.
That's good, dude. Yes. And actually, I think people are gonna think you're something of a hero for doing that. Like they're gonna be like, yeah, dude, you were right. You should have done that. Dude,
yeah, the whole thing about like how I don't understand how a 60-something-year-old woman says the word sucky. And like, because I have a 14-year-old, and if she ever said sucky, I'd be like, fix your mouth. But it's not great.
No, it's a great connection point though. It's one of those like little annoyances, but it turns huge like in just a second, right?
Oh yeah.
And you are forced in like that sliver of a second to make like a split second decision. I guess that's right. Split second decision. And you make the heroic one, which is okay, you said sucky. I am putting the seatbelt on and sitting down.
Right.
Is that the point? Is that why you sit down? Because she used the word sucky? Or did you sit back down and put the seatbelt on just because she's been a jerk?
I guess that's probably the thing to dive into more and really blow out, because it was probably a combination of both. At first, it was because she was rude. And then as I thought about it, it's really because she said sucky.
Yes, exactly. I think, what if you like describe it as like, 2 stages? So when I saw her being rude, I just sat back down. And then when I heard her say, that's sucky, I buckled my seatbelt. Like, like somehow there's like a corresponding action or reaction to her action.
No, it should be like, as soon as she was rude, I buckled my seatbelt. And when it really hit me that she said sucky, I tripped her in the aisle.
There you go.
That's the, I tagged it with an idea of like, of course we call these people Karens now, like women who want their way and don't get it and get captured on camera. And I guess it struck me in that moment that Karen is so close to the word caring, and Karens be caring a little too much and for the wrong things.
Yeah, a little bit too much. Oh, that's good.
The wrong things.
Man, dude, I think you should just be cataloging these annoyances. I'm sure you already are.
Yeah.
But man, catalog them, because I think you got a whole show here. I really do.
I like the idea of like, I mean, I've said American hero, but because that's like turns that on its head. That's funny.
Yes. Yeah. I think some of those big things, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the Nobel Prize, the Purple Heart, the Key to the City, like all those sort of things you can use, those accolades.
Those are an embarrassment compared to what I deserve.
Yes, exactly. Those are nothing. I wonder, dude, what could be interesting is to like start a whole show with that story, tell a bunch of the other stories, then end the show by you arriving at church or somehow like circling back to that initial Jack in the Box story. That could be interesting. Yeah. So
I wish I had a good story with like a giant trophy in it. I'll have to think about that.
Like that one sitting behind your head on the shelf?
Yeah, this one's funny. This one, I was at my old business partner and I He's a great salesman. He would do most of kind of the external sales and stuff for our agency. And then I made one sale with one client and I made myself this trophy, like
Nice.
anonymous in the name of our company, number one best person at sales.
Nice.
I put that right over my shoulder. He's like, what is that? I was like, well, I made this for myself.
That's like the Michael Scott
Oh yeah, totally.
world best boss.
That's exactly it.
That's great. If you're down for it, let's just take a few minutes and see if we can make up some jokes on the spot from random prompts. You good for that? And we'll wrap up here.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. So if you're watching, you're going to be able to see this on the screen. Here's how you do this. And if you're a joke writer, I would definitely encourage you to use this. So if you go to MichaelHalcomb.Live, and if you're just listening, then just do this. But if you're watching and see it on the screen, you go to MichaelHalcomb.Live and you scroll down. You'll see a little social section. Now, if you're on a phone or a tablet, you may have to click a button or scroll to the bottom of the screen. But the very last item in the list, there's 3 that say Joke Writers Lab. One of those in my online course. One's a Facebook group, and Alex in that Facebook group, we share jokes there. It's funny. You should join. But the last one is joke writing exercises. And if you click that, a new page will open. A new page. Whew. Yes. And it looks like I need to fix this here because the buttons are covering some text. It doesn't keep any of your jokes that you come up with or anything like that. But I have just a bunch of different writing prompts here. And you can click these to get joke writing exercises. This is just a great way to get juices flowing, that kind of thing. So we have like jokes from headlines, jokes from cliches, jokes from roasting, from lists, from fallacies, from rhetoric, all kinds of things. We're just going to, we'll do jokes from cliches, for example. And if you go here, it's going to open up the random cliche generator. And this should, when you click the generate cliche button, just pull from like a list of thousands of cliches. Like this one, that's icing on the cake. And the idea is you have 1 minute. So once you hit the button, start writing challenge, you have 1 minute to just make up some jokes based on the cliche. So that's the idea. It's kind of challenging, but can you see the screen, Alec?
Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to do this. I'm going to hit cliche, and we're comedians, so we're always on a clock. And when we're writing, it's sometimes good to be on a clock too, sometimes not.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit the button, get the next one, and then I'll hit the start writing, and we got a minute. We can just even alternate, but if you come up with multiple in a row, then just keep going. So, all right, here it is. Near and dear to my heart. Go.
It's the thing I hit with my car.
Near and dear to my heart.
It was near and dear.
Right. Near and dear to my heart. The heart catheter, or the catheter, maybe.
Yeah. It's a surgery.
The doctor's scalpel. Near and dear to my heart, the doctor's scalpel.
That's right. It reminds me of at Disneyland, they have the shirts, a dream is a wish your heart makes. And I saw someone at Disney World that had a shirt that said, fart is a wish your butt makes.
I don't know why that was so funny, but it was.
So stupid. Someone paid money for that shirt.
I guess fart jokes just never are going to get old, dude. So, all right, let's do another one. There are 3 kinds of lies. That's a little bit of a challenging one.
There's 3 types of lies. There's the lies you tell your spouse, there's the lies to tell yourself, and there's no other types.
There are 3 kinds of lies. They are named Silas, Lydia, and Ashi, my kid's name.
There's 3 types of lies. There's on your side, on your stomach, and on your back.
Nice.
It's the
There
word.
you go. I see what you did there. There are 3 kinds of lies. And my wife is a pro at all of them. There are 3 kinds of lies. Oh, go ahead.
There's 3 kinds of flies, and they all love resting on poop.
Nice. There you go. There are 3 kinds of lies. There's 3 kinds of lies, and evidently my wife is incapable of being guilty of any of them. Yeah. I didn't think we were going to get much out of that, but we actually got a lot out of that.
Yeah.
Let's go back. We'll try a different one here. Let's try. Man, some of these are hard. Let me see. Finish the setup. Now, what I did here, I took thousands of jokes that have already been told, and I just chopped off the punchline. And so that is to use the setup from someone's already joke and try to create a new punchline. So I think this will work. Let's see. There's a new car coming out from BMW that's partially made from hemp. The celebrity sponsor, Snoop Dogg.
There's a new car coming out from BMW. It's partially made from hemp, and Republicans already have outlawed it.
There's a new car coming out from BMW that's partially made from hemp. It'll be featured on MTV's new series, Hemp My Ride.
Hemp My Ride. There's a new car coming out from BMW that's partially made from hemp. The buttons on the dash are made from George Washington's wooden teeth. Didn't he raise hemp? Now, like, we're really going deep.
Snap. All right. Okay, we're going to skip that one. In the UK, a group of scientists successfully taught bumblebees how to play soccer.
Yeah. All they do is roll around on the ground and pretend like they're hurt.
In the UK, a group of scientists successfully taught bumblebees how to play soccer. Man, the team name, the Bumblebees, or the team name, the Stingers.
Yeah, the Stingers.
That's kind of lame.
Hive.
In the UK, a group of scientists successfully taught bumblebees how to play soccer. While in America, no one knows how to play soccer.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in America, no one cares. Yeah. In the UK, a group of scientists successfully taught bumblebees how to play soccer, and all they do is whinge and say, "It's go football, right?"
Right on. Let's do. Okay. Some of
You
these.
saw that, you're like, "Nerd." Let's file that under. Not okay. File that under. Not today, Satan.
Okay, here we go. A Vatican cardinal is claiming Jesus was the first tweeter.
He said, "Follow me if you want to live."
Okay, it said follow me if you want. A Vatican cardinal is claiming Jesus was the first tweeter. Meanwhile, a Catholic priest is being held as the first follower of children. I don't know.
The Vatican cardinal is claiming Jesus was the first tweeter. He already rebranded it to X.
A Vatican cardinal is claiming Jesus was the first tweeter, to which Jesus replied, "No, I said my first disciple was Peter."
I'm cheating a little bit because I wrote a book on historical tweets about what things about people would have tweeted in history that came out
Nice.
years ago. And we had a whole run of Jesus retweeting the Terminator, "I'll be back." And then it was Jesus retweeting Arnold Schwarzenegger, "It's not a tomb."
Nice. I
So
like that.
I have a bunch of those in my back pocket.
Somebody in Utah has come down with a rare allergy to water. What a setup. Somebody in Utah has come down with a rare allergy to water. And we say somebody because the Mormon husband was confused about which wife.
Someone came down with a rare allergy to water. Turns out it was just too salty.
Say it again. I lost you there.
Somebody in Utah has come down with a rare allergy to water. Turns out it was the water was a little too salty.
All right. Somebody in Utah has come down with a rare allergy to water. Yeah, all I can think of is Mormon stuff.
Yeah, I was like, somebody in Utah came down with a rare allergy to water. Turns out they just misread H2O.
What an interesting setup. I will do one more here. It's been reported that, contrary to popular opinion, the tongue is not the strongest muscle in the body.
This is one of those like improv things where you just have to say the word and whatever comes out of your mouth is the thing. It's been reported that, contrary to popular opinion, the tongue is not the strongest muscle in the body. It's not the strongest muscle in my body. It doesn't work out at all. Stupid.
Contrary to popular opinion, the tongue is not the strongest muscle in the body. For women, that's arms.
Got the strongest muscle in the body.
The tongue is not the strongest muscle in the body.
Well, it's been reported that contrary to popular opinion, the tongue is not the strongest muscle in the body. In my body, all my muscles are tied for last.
Yeah, that's brilliant, actually. Very good. Man, this is fun. Well, dude, thank you. Thank you for coming on. I'm doing a couple episodes on the podcast.
Yeah.
This has been really fun. Thanks for sharing your joke and your stories. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this. If you're watching or listening, go when you get a chance, check out Alec, ALEC McNair, McNayr. And that'll take you to his Substack. And you can subscribe there, AlecMcNair.com. Again, if you're watching it, you'll just see on the screen right now. And you can follow Alec on socials as well if you're in the LA area. He's got some storytelling stuff coming up, and maybe you'll catch him at some open mics and whatnot. But,
Yep.
Dude, thanks for coming on, man. This was really fun. I enjoyed it.
Yes, same here.
Yeah, man. All right, we're going to wrap it up there, friends. Check out MichaelHalcomb.Live if you get a chance. Follow the Messed Up to Setups podcast on Spotify or the video version on YouTube. Follow me on socials as well. We're going to stop there and say hope that.
It's all messed up, yeah. Everything's messed up. We're going from this mess up to the next setup. Everything seems so messed up, but it's just